Hello. Beep, 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 beep. Morning. Welcome to the court of the Edijester. How are we, everyone? Oh dear. Been a few bits and bobs over the last couple of days, but today I would like to talk to you about ScotPAG, who are working in Scotland in order to prevent the Scottish Government from using currently a load of trans cobblers as guidance for school children. Now, what they've done is they've written an open letter to Jenny Gilruth, but there's a couple of things that I want to talk about before we begin on that one. The BBC have got a new series out about women. It's about menopausal women. That's what the whole series is about. Written by Sally Wainwright, who also gave us the marvellous Last Tango in Paris. Was it Last Tango in Paris? No, Last Tango in Halifax. That must be the French version I'm talking about. Right, Last Tango in Halifax, which I loved. It's got Nicola in it, one of my favourite actresses. Anyway, by the by, they've got it on TV and it's got some bloke in there. It's just beyond me. But most of all, I was angry, not because of the fact that, you know, it's just so normal for them to do this now, and I hate that they do it. But the people in it have produced some amazing stuff, you know? Getting on. It's those kind of actresses, you know, Sue Johnson from Waking the Dead. Getting on about the nurses in the NHS, Jam in Jerusalem. This is the cream of British comedy. And it really annoys me that either A, they've fallen for it, or B, they had no choice but to be involved. And I think individuals should say more, and they don't, that's the first thing. That's the first thing. And secondly, that we have a distinct problem with what I'm seeing, again, is purity spirals. Oh dear. Oh, you're not pure because... I don't know why people do it. Somebody explain it to me. It seems to be the purview of collectivist organisations to have purity spirals. We see it all over the place. It's very annoying. Collaboration is much better, you know. Collectivism tends to be a pain in the ass. So those are the two things that have been sort of, you know, uppermost on my mind since I got up about an hour ago. I don't know why. I'm just weird that way. So let's get back to Jenny Gilruth. Come and be a warrior teacher, buy me a coffee. Anything you can do to help me keep going would be gratefully appreciated. Jenny Gilruth has received this letter now from ScotPAG. And what I've got for you in the Dubras is a link to the letter itself so that you can have a look and see. Now, the interesting thing is, in amongst the letter is some more information from ScotPAG. So go and read the letter, which is well worth reading. But also look for a link to what is called 10 false claims refuted. As you can see on your screen right now, you should be able to see the title, 10 false claims refuted. Now, this is very interesting and well worth a look and well worth keeping in your arsenal as we fight against the lunacy of gender and the look up at hands, knees and bumps of daisy people. 10 false claims refuted. There we are. The revised Scottish Government guidance, which came out in September 2025, retains many of the spurious claims made in the 2021 version. It relies on outdated, low quality or anecdotal sources rather than robust peer-reviewed evidence, which is what we're looking for here, robust peer-reviewed evidence. Even its recommended resource at the end of the guidance on the production of activist organisations which have little or no professional expertise regarding child psychological development or effective teaching and learning. There is little doubt that the Scottish Government remains committed to producing guidance for school that is not impartial in the slightest and is invested in promoting ideology and falsehoods rather than truth and reality. Below, we respond to 10 of the major falsehoods that the Scottish governments are promoting as facts. So in other words, what they've done is they've drilled down at ScotPAG. They've drilled down and they've got these 10 points which you could do well to save and remember, particularly if you're working in the field, to convince people that this is all a load of nonsense and should be stopped. Number one, here's the first lie. Transgender children exist. The term transgender is a rebound of the adult term transsexual. There are children who are non-conforming regarding stereotype sex roles, and there are children who are confused about their sexuality as they develop. But no child is born in the wrong body, and no child is transgender. It is a 21st century invention. Absolutely right. Nobody's born in the wrong body, and if they are born in the wrong body, your first question should be, where's the other one? That's the first question. Number two, transgender youth face a 57% lifetime attempted suicide rate. Now, this is a particularly worrying lie. a particularly worrying lie because one does not make light of suicide. It's that simple. The alarmist statistic draws from a non-representative online sample of 120 US trans youth, mostly clinic referred, with no causal link to a presentation of gender identity problems alone. It ignores compounding factors like comorbidities. This claim has been repeatedly disproved by robust research. Quoting there, M. Biggs, 2022. Parental support for a trans identity improves mental health. This is maybe one of the ones that annoys me the most. The Cass review was clear, and there was no evidence showing long-term mental health benefits from social transition. The study quoted in the Scottish Government guidance was a small, self-selecting sample lacking longitudinal data or controls for selection bias and wrongly equates correlation with causation. As usual, none of this is going to stack up scientifically. None of this is going to stack up in reality. The whole thing is a 21st century fantasy. Number 4 on the list from ScotPAG, 83% of trans youth with mental health issues have been bullied at school. This claim is based on a tiny random sample of 47 self-identified trans respondents with no comparison group or verification of bullying. It has no relevance or value in relation to Scotland's 700,000 plus pupils. It's just a lie, right? And this was done by LGBT Youth Scotland. Can I trust them? I'm not. Trans youth have elevated rates of depression, self-harm and eating disorders compared with their peers. Now, this is an interesting one because we all know that there is evidence of comorbidities constantly. Just a drop of coffee there before I start coughing like a goat. Now, so post-2016 evidence, including Cass, highlights the presence of pre-existing mental health conditions that are significant as being contributory factors to a child's expression of a false belief about the body as being wrong, yet the guidance presents these conditions as secondary. In other words, cart before the horse. Cart before the horse. They're secondary to the ideation of I'm in the wrong body. They're secondary, when in fact they are significant contributory factors and, in my mind, causal. But, this is the kind of thing that we're dealing with, is this kind of misinformation. Number 6, social transition should be affirmed to support well-being. This is quite wrong. The Cass review is clear there is no evidence to support the claim. Dr. Cass also highlights that there is potential harm from affirmation because it bypasses explorative approaches that could elucidate long-standing mental health and relationships difficulties. Again, another very interesting one and quite true in that what it's saying here, this is not something that you affirm. I would go further even than ScotPAG and say it's an immediate red flag and something that should be treated with the utmost seriousness because of the dangerous nature of trans ideation, gender ideology, the whole thing, and of course the whole package of queer theory and all the other rubbish that comes with it as it devolves into the actual political leftist movement it is. But you can go and read the rest because this is really worth having, and also you might want to keep the list for yourself. If you can't save it, you can always screenshot it. For those on a Windows, if you don't know how to do that, just hold down Win, press Shift, and click S, and it'll let you screenshot anything, right? Go and have a look. They've done the work. The letter for Jenny Ruth is there. They've also got information about a manifesto for confusion, which is all about what the Scots Government are doing. This needs to stop. We need to prevent children from being exploited by this absolutely predatory industry. And the easiest way to do that is one person at a time. Keep talking and keep going. I'll see you folks later. Bye-bye.